Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Hit the Bit, and in today's video we will solve a programming interview question, row with maximum ones. So this problem was asked in Amazon's interview. So let's get started. So the question is, you are given a boolean 2D array where each row is sorted and you need to find the row with the maximum number of ones. So let me explain you the problem with an example. A boolean 2D array means each element in the array would be either 0 or 1, and you are also given that each row is sorted. So as you can see, there will be a number of zeros, and once a 1 occurs, then there will be all ones. That's how each row is sorted, and you need to find the row with the maximum number of ones. So in this problem you can clearly see that this row has the maximum number of ones. So the output of your program should be 3 because the index of the row is starting from 0 and the third row has maximum number of ones. So this is what the problem is. I would recommend you to pause the video right now and think about a solution, and then I'll explain you the best solution. So this is a very basic solution. Let me explain you how this works. So we will need three extra variables: count, max till now, and row. So what count does is it will count the number of ones in a given row, and max till now is a variable which will store the maximum number of ones that we have encountered up till now, and the row will store in which row this maximum number of ones have occurred. So initially max till now and row will start with -1. So now we will scan the first row, and as you can see there are 3 ones, so the count will become 3. And now we compare this count of this row with max till now. So if 3 is greater than -1, so now this is the maximum number of ones. So we will update max till now to 3, and this maximum number of ones have occurred in row number 0. So that's why the row variable will also be updated to 0. So now if we go to the next row, the number of ones in the next row is 2. So count will become 2, and 2 is less than 3. So we will not update max till now and we will not update row. So up to here, if we see just these two rows, so our max till now is 3. That means the maximum number of ones is 3, and that maximum number of ones has occurred in row number 0. So if we go to the next row, the count will become 5 because there are 5 ones, and 5 is greater than 3. That's why we will update max till now to 5. So now this is the row with 5 number of ones, so we will update row also to 2. So this tells us that in row number 2 there are 5 ones, and this is the maximum till now from row number 0, 1 and 2. If we go to the next row, the count becomes 6 because there are 6 ones. 6 is greater than 5, therefore max till now will become 6 and row will become 3 because now third row has the maximum number of ones, and that maximum number of ones is 6. In the next row, which is the final row, the count is 4 and 4 is less than 6, so we will not update max till now and row. So our final answer would be 3 because row number 3 has the maximum number of ones, and that maximum number of ones is 6. So we can just output this final answer of the row variable. But this solution is very inefficient because in all the cases you will have to scan the entire array. So let me explain you what an efficient solution is. So before explaining you the solution, I just want you to see what's happening here, and I'm sure you will understand what I'm trying to explain. So watch carefully. So we have our first one here and we are done. The answer is 3. So I'm sure you would have guessed what I'm trying to do. I'm not scanning the array row wise, but I'm scanning the array column wise, starting from column number 0. And what I'm doing, I'm looking for the first occurrence of 1. As soon as I get a 1, I know that this row has the maximum number of ones. Why? Because the array was sorted. So in the previous solution, what we were doing is we were skipping the fact given in the problem that the array is sorted. We were just counting the number of ones. So that doesn't use the fact given in the question, which is the array is sorted. So the hint is always hidden in the problem itself, and you need to make sure that whatever is given in the question you are using each and everything. So in this solution, the solution is really simple. We will just scan the array column wise, and as soon as we get the first one, that row would be our answer because the array is sorted and that row would contain the maximum number of ones. So now let's quickly write the code for this. So here we have the question on Geeks for Geeks. So let's now see how to read the input. So the first line of input contains an integer t denoting the number of test cases. So as explained in my previous video, you will always have to write these 3 lines you will have to declare a number t, you will have to take t as input, and then you will have to write while t minus minus, and the whole logic of your program should come within this while loop. So as a convention, you can just remember these 3 lines. It will always be there in each and every solution. So now the next line of each test case contains n and m, where n is the number of rows and m is the number of columns. So for the 2D array, we are given n and m, where n is number of rows and m is number of columns. So within this while loop, we will take first n as input, and then we will take m as input. Now the second line of each test case contains the array elements. So we will have to first declare an array. So we will declare the array, but we don't know what size of array we need to declare. So we could see this in constraints. So in the constraint, it's given that n and m would be between 1 and 10 to the power 3, that is 1000. So the maximum size, we can declare the array of 1000 cross 1000. So now the second line is giving us the array elements as input. So after taking n and m, we will have to take array elements as input. So we will use 2 for loops for it. And the second for loop. And we will take the array elements as input. So now according to our logic, we have to scan the array column wise, and while scanning the array column wise, we have to look for a 1. So to scan array column wise, we will have to declare j outside, and j should be less than m, and we will declare the loop for I inside. And what we will do, as soon as we get a 1, we need to break the loop and we need to print the row number for it. That means we need to print the I for it. So what we'll do, if a of ij is equal to 1, then we need to break the loop and print I. But this solution won't work. Why? Because if you use a break here, it will just break the loop of I. But what do we want? We want to break the loop of j also. We need to get completely out of these for loops. So what we can do, we can use a goto statement here. We can just write goto x, and we can declare x here, and at this x we can just simply write cout I, and for each test case your solution should come in a new line. That's why we have used this endl here. So now I think this solution is complete and we can try submitting it. So our solution got rejected and the error message says I and j were not declared in this scope. So we have used I and j, but we forgot declaring them. So I'll just declare I and j here with all the other variables, and now let's try submitting the new code. So yes, our new solution got accepted. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.